Okay, so the notes worksheet handout that I gave you in class will not give you enough room to complete the problems I want to do today. So please make sure that you have lined paper or your notebook when we get to the 4 examples. All right, area and perimeter of triangles. I do not think that this will be foreign to you once we look at the equation. Area of a triangle, 1/2 the base times the height. You may have seen it as base times height divided by 2. And then perimeter, how do we get the perimeter of any figure? We just add up all the sides. We know that triangles have 3 sides, so that's how we find the perimeter. All right, so in order to determine the area, we need to identify what's called the base and the height. So how do we get the base and the height? In any triangle, the base is always perpendicular to the height. So when we look at the first triangle drawn, here's my right angle, the base, and then this would be the height. Oh, nope, mix them up. So height, we know height always is perpendicular to the base. We learned that another term for height would be our altitude. Okay, in the other triangle, where the right angle is at where the 2 sides meet, here's my height. We'll identify that as our base. And now the third type of triangle is where the height of the triangle is outside of the triangle. So we always look for the right angle. Here's the right angle. My height, by definition, goes from a vertex and it's perpendicular to an opposite side. But now you have to be careful. The base has to be the actual side in the triangle. So notice we do not include this dotted line here. We just use that to extend one base of the triangle to be able to form the height. And we'll look at examples of all 3 of them. Okay, so let's find, we're just going to do the area for these 3 examples. So example 1, let's find the area. I know area is 1/2 times the base times the height. Here's my right angle. 2.5 represents my height, and 11 represents my base. Okay, so there's that example of the height being outside the triangle. So 1/2 times 2.5 times 11, and you can use your calculator for these, and I get my area to equal 13.75. Now let's talk about units. The sides are measured in feet, so units for area would be feet squared. That's not feet to the second, that's not feet in 2. We say that as feet squared. All right, next triangle, the height is on the inside of the triangle. So I locate my 90-degree angle. Here's my height, here's my base. Area 1/2 times the base times the height. 1/2. Base of the triangle is 12. Height of the triangle is 15. You can pause the video, plug it into your calculator. You get an area of 90. My units are centimeters, so 90 centimeters squared. Your units are important, okay, especially as we look at word problems. It'll tell us where to plug in certain information. Okay, lastly, again, height is on the inside of the triangle. Now when I look at my base, let's add these 2 lengths together. So the base of the triangle is 16 inches. Area 1/2 times the base times the height. 1/2. Base of the triangle is 16 inches. Height of the triangle is 7. Pause the video, plug that in your calculator, and you'll get 56 square inches. Okay, now the next 3 on your sheet, again, everything is really condensed, so please, on a separate sheet of paper, label this as example 2, draw the triangle, and then we'll solve it together. All right, so looking at this, I want the area and the perimeter. All right, well, in order to find the perimeter, I need 3 sides. Third side in this triangle is missing. In order to find the area, we need the base and the height. Now, For lack of calling it H, because I don't want you to get confused with hypotenuse, okay, let's call this X. Here's my right angle. Those are the two sides that I need in order to find the area. Now, what do you notice we have? We have two sides in a right triangle. We're looking for the third. So we set up our Pythagorean theorem. X squared plus 6 squared is equal to 10 squared. Squaring 6 gives me 36. Squaring 10 gives me 100. When I subtract 36 from both sides, I get 64. And then when I take the square root, I get x is equal to 8. Okay, so now I know that the height of my triangle is 8. So now I can complete the problem. Area 1/2 times the base times the height. You have to focus on finding the right angle for the base and the height. 1/2 base is 6, height is 8. You can plug that in your calculator. It gives me 24, and we'll call this units squared. Okay, centimeters, inches, nothing's identified on the figure. Perimeter, add up the three sides, 8 plus 6 plus 10. Now the perimeter also gives me a value of 24, but it would just be 24 units. Okay, perimeter is just combining like terms, so I'm not multiplying anything by itself, so I don't need an exponent on my answer. Oop. So area, perimeter. All right, example 3. Now I only have one side of the triangle, and it's what we'll call the base. Okay, I focus on my right angle here. But now I have a triangle with a known angle measure and one side length. So now I can set up trig ratios to find my two missing pieces of information. I need all three sides to find the perimeter. So from my marked angle, 12 is the adjacent side, x is the opposite side, and y is the hypotenuse. Okay, you just completed a quiz on this. So first I'll solve for x. My marked side is my adjacent side, and I'm looking for my opposite side. So I'll use my tangent function. Tan of 60 degrees over 1 is equal to opposite side over adjacent side. Cross multiplying, I get 12 times the tangent of 60 equals x. If you have a calculator, please pause the video and find the answer. Without a calculator, 20.78 would be the value of x. Now trig ratio to find y. I know my adjacent side. I'm looking for my hypotenuse. So I'll use my cosine function. Cosine of 60, adjacent side over hypotenuse. Cross multiplying gives me y times the cosine of 60 equals 12. This is where we have that added step of dividing by cosine of 60. And you get y, the length of your hypotenuse, to be 24. Okay, so we found this to be 20.78. Found this to be 24. Now we have all the information we need to find area and perimeter. Area, 1/2 times the base times the height. 1/2. Base of the triangle is 12. Height of the triangle is 20.78. I take the two legs. Right, the legs are where the right angle is formed. So I get my area to be 124.68 square units. And I just want to get in the habit of writing the units. You'll see that on your park test. Perimeter, add up the three sides, 20.78 plus 12 plus 24. You can plug that in a calculator for me. The perimeter, 56.7, and that would just be units. All right, last example. So what I would like you to do for your homework, complete this example. So find the area and perimeter. We're going to set it up together. I have an angle measure and one side length. So I'm going to need a little trig. I'm going to set that up as x. I'll set that as y. From my marked angle, y is the opposite side. I have to move through the triangle to get there. X is my adjacent side. And 8, opposite the 90-degree angle, is my hypotenuse. All right, so to find y, I need my opposite side. I know my hypotenuse. Sine of 73 degrees equals y over 8. To find x, my adjacent side, I need my adjacent side. I know my hypotenuse. So cosine of 73 degrees is x over 8. All right, so complete this problem tonight, please.